Okay, hi, and welcome to this reading. This is my final reading for the day. I'm actually a little bit tired now, so I'm going to just do this quick reading because the energy came through at about 3 a.m. this morning, and I really want to pull some cards on it because it was really interesting. Something's about to be birthed. This is the energy. Something is about to be birthed, and it is part of the age of Aquarius. It is very alien-esque, extraterrestrial, completely way out there beyond what you think is imaginable, what is possible, what we've ever seen before. I mean, gosh, even if you think back, 50 years, people wouldn't imagine that everybody was walking around with Wi-Fi and watching TV on their phones, and it's completely, whatever this is completely foreign, but it is part of this huge ascension process that we are all in collectively, part of the age of Aquarius. Now, as I said to you, these messages were coming through at about 3:30 this morning. I dropped my son to work, and as soon as I got in the car, I always have my songs on random shuffle. I put my song on random shuffle, and the song that came on was, and you can see 3:38 a.m. the Sense 8 theme. Now the next song that came on, and that was on the trip home, 4:23 a.m. A spaceman came traveling. I'd seen that song maybe once before. I'd actually screenshotted it when it came up in a random shuffle. I always have on Spotify my songs on random shuffle, but I have that extra little thing that you click where it pulls in anything else that it thinks you might like, and so I just add them to my liked songs list, and end up with 5,000 or 6,000 songs on my list. But anyway, that song came through, and it was about a spaceman, Christberg. It was about a spaceman who came down, and I not really looked a lot into it, but it was about a spaceman who came down 2,000 years ago to witness the birth of a baby. And that he would be back, the lyrics are that he would be back in 2,000 years to witness the birth of another baby. Now, if you look at the Sense 8 movie, it's not a movie, it's a series on Netflix, well worth a watch. 2 seasons, I think it is. I don't know if she's an alien, I don't know what she is, but she telepathically births a pod of 8. 8 people around the world, don't know each other from a bar of soap, but they are all connected through something that this woman births. All unaware, all going through major ascension symptoms, which is what many people are going through at the moment. This huge, as we get these huge, big light storms, sunstorms coming from the sun, it's literally raising the vibration of the planet. The last 4 days for me, I have had this burning on the top of my head that Panadol, Nurofen won't even touch, and I'm not unwell. It's just this almost like huge, other people that I'm in and around that I know have gifts as well. Nausea, some have had vomiting, some have, but not unwell, just huge ascension symptoms. So when that song came through, the first song this morning, and I was driving in my car, the only star in the sky, because it was pitch black outside, and where I had to drop my son was way out in the boonies, not a lot of street lights. So all I could see was Venus in the sky, which was the bright morning star. Now the reference to that is Jesus, is Revelation 22:16. Jesus is referred to as the bright morning star, which is what that song was referring to. Something incredibly celestial, terrestrial, about to happen. Now, I'm going to pull some cards. I'm going to see where we go. The energy, the angels that are protecting us at this particular point on our collective journey. 68, Habahia, healing. That's the 9 of Cups. That's Jupiter in Pisces. That's spiritual expansion. Jupiter is 777. And Pisces is spirituality. The North Node is currently, wow, look at that, number 19. That's the 2 of Cups. Fulfillment, wisdom, and divine blessings. The North Node is currently in Pisces. It'll be there for 18 months. It started in there in January this year and will be there through until halfway through next year. And it's about a spiritual awakening, a collective spiritual awakening that I think has something to do, well, I know has something to do with these spiritual gifts that are coming in. Now, when I was doing the setup for this reading, when I was doing my meditation, what I heard was, I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Seth. Now that is Numbers 24:17, and it talks about the star of Jacob. 24:17, a 2 and a 4 adds up to 6. And a 1 and a 7, 24:17 adds up to an 8. The 6th of the 8th is Pentecost. It's the 4th feast day on the Christian calendar. It is when they were touched on their heads by the Holy Spirit, flames on their head by the Holy Spirit. It's symbolized by the color green. We've got these huge solar storms rolling in at the moment. They are looking at the potential for many, many places to actually have some sort of mini or large Carrington event, which is essentially where all the power gets wiped out because of the electromagnetic energy of the solar storms rolling in that are potentially the aurora borealis, which is green, is potentially going to be able to be seen as low down as the equator. And there are all these things about the 3 days of darkness and the northern lights. The 6th of the 8th is Pentecost. Well, actually, it's the 8th of the 6th. So it's the 8th of June. Which would be next Tuesday, because today's the 2nd. Monday the 2nd, so it'd be next Tuesday. And even in that song, a spaceman came traveling. So Jesus was seen as the morning star. If you think if all the, if you're going to look at planets or anything in the sky, they always say to you, or, there's a meteor coming, or there's a this or the that. They always say, go where there's no lights. What are we going to be shown what are we going to be able to see in the night sky if literally all the lights on the planet are turned off? A spaceman came traveling. Maybe that's what the Star of Bethlehem was. Because in that song he was talking about, he arrived at the birth of that baby and he'd be back 2,000 years later at the birth of the next one. Okay, healing. 68, Habakkuk, and 19, which is the 2 of Cups. Let's have a look. Those born under this angel will love the countryside, hunting and gardens, and all things connected with agriculture. That's that green. Preserves health and cures diseases and rules agriculture and fertility. We had bee energy coming through in the last reading, which is Mother Nature. Soul guardian for those born 10:20 p.m. to 10:40 p.m. Moral guardian for those born the 26th of May, the 6th of August, the 17th of October, the 28th of December, and the 10th of March, and the physical guardian for those born the 18th to the 27th to the 22nd of February. The 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment, spiritual fulfillment. Number 19. Those born under this angel, which is the 2 of Cups, will be modest and bear adversity with resignation. They obtain the grace of God and govern memory and human intelligence. Soul guardian for those born 6 a.m. to 6:20 a.m. Moral guardian for those born the 7th of April, the 8th of June. The 8th of June is Pentecost. Oh, look. The 8th of June, 8/6. The 8th of June, the 29th of August, the 9th of November, the 20th of January. Physical guardian for those born the 18th to the 22nd of June. Wow. So we've got a Pentecost link here and a Pentecost link here. A Pentecost link in the prophecy of the Star of Jacob, because that is also the 6th of the 8th, or the 8th of the 6th, which is Pentecost. Interesting. Okay, so we're looking at Mother Mary energy. So I'm going to do one of those first. What is coming towards us? The morning star, communication. Frustration. Maybe not in the way we want it, or not how we want it. True love. Two of Cups, true love. Let's go with my grandma deck. This is my Gwen deck. Let's see what she wants to say. Oh, that's her wedding day. Stuart Michael, Saturday the 13th of December. Now, that wedding dress, it was the war. It's after World War II. I think 5 other women wore that wedding dress because there just weren't any to buy and nobody had any money to buy them. It was about love. This is about love. Healing. This is about love. This is about stripping back everything that we think we want, that we think we need. This is about even agriculture. This is about moving out of the city, out of the bright lights. This is about living on a farm and learning how to grow fruit trees and your own vegetables. This is about a reconnection with Mother Earth. And we've lost it. Shell on the bottom. How beautiful. Okay, I'm going to get a Mother Mary card because we've got divine, feminine, mother energy here. The Holy Spirit, divine connection. The Holy Spirit, again. The Holy Spirit is who appears on Pentecost. They're visited by the Holy Spirit. So now we have it. Within the numerology of the Star of Jacob prophecy, in that card, communication in that card, in the numbers on that card, and in that card. Wow. Okay, what am I going to get next? A spaceman came traveling. Sense 8 is also 8, the 8th of June. And the 8th of June, Jupiter, which is in Gemini at the moment, Jupiter flips over into Cancer on the 9th of June, which is communication incoming. It's stuck in your head. Okay, I'm going to get one of these. This is my favourite things. My favourite things deck. Seahorse. And the pine cone. And look, the dove, the Holy Spirit. It's almost like an umbilical cord to God. The pine cone is the pineal gland, which is your third eye. And the seahorse, it's the male seahorse that actually carries the babies, which is almost a revert back to this kind of World War II energy where, I'm not saying the men carried the babies because obviously that was very old-fashioned back then, but a reversion back to simpler times. You can even see on, like, you know, social media at the moment, people learning to bake and actually it all started to come through from COVID, people baking and pickling things and making cultures and making their own yogurt. And it's a reversion back to simpler times. And I would even say too, healing wise, the amount of garbage that is in our food that our bodies have to clear. I was even saying in the last reading, there's so many pesticides now used that there are, and I don't know if it's the same in other places, but there are bee farmers in Australia that literally have their bees in one certain area because the pesticides were actually coming through and they were being found in the honey. Communication. It's almost like we're moving ahead from a spiritual lens in leaps and bounds, but in order to do it, we need to go back. We need to take away all the guff that the last 100 years has put on top of things. You know, and you think about Mary having a baby, you know, 2,000 years ago. She had a baby in a stable. She didn't have a midwife. She didn't have a doctor. There was no anesthetic. There was no after birth care. There was nothing. She was just there with the bloody donkeys and the sheep and everything else. I mean, you know, in terms of sterilization and all that sort of stuff, like, I can't even imagine giving birth in a barn. The spaceman came to visit, right? clearly there was nothing stopping that connection, if we take the lyrics of that song literally, right? So if somebody was going to come and visit now, if there were people from outer space coming to visit now, if there was communication trying to come to us, but Mary's got an epidural, she turned up with a birthing plan and a bloody Stanley Cup, and she's blogged about it the whole way through, all over social media. They've had the bloody gender reveal with where they're popping balloons, and you know, like, where is the sincerity? Not the sincerity, that's the wrong word. Having a baby is about, well, in the traditional sense, is about two people in love and making a decision to bring a life into the world. And for want of a better word, it's all effed up now. I remember when we had our first child, and the doctor said, do you want to know what the sex of the baby is? And I said, no. My thing is, like, I've always been really intuitive. I've always kind of picked up on things before. Can't generally surprise me, because I'll get a wind of, you know, what's going on. I don't get many surprises in life. So for me, for our first baby, I wanted it to be a surprise. And so we didn't find out the sex. And purely because of the way that birth was, you know, I didn't have any drugs or anything. There just wasn't time. So I had a completely natural birth. My second baby was breech. So I had to go in for a Caesar, but there were forms, and there were this and there were that, and there was, you know, drugs in your system, and, you know, just so far removed from anything. It's almost like we've got so much control, but we don't actually realize that we have no control. And it's the people that have the biggest kind of list of what they want in their birth plan that are actually the ones who end up so far away from that. And that's what needs to be healed. And that's what's happening. We've cut off our umbilical cord with the divine, because we think we are godlike and we can control everything. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. Meaning, I'm not going to tell you when or where, because you're not going to control this. It's divine timing. Okay, let's get some cards. The energy, the collective energy around this message of the Three of Pentacles. Oh, that's building energy. The Three of Pentacles is Mars in Capricorn. Mars energy is, I'm going to fight you all the way because I want to control this. But you can't. It's uncontrollable because it's being orchestrated further up the food chain. The energy in the 3D. Fighting back. You will not control me. I want this particular colour. I want this particular midwife. I want this particular doctor. I'm going to have a water birth. It's so funny, actually, because when I mean, I'm 50 this year, but when I was talking to my mum, my younger sisters, and they're probably 10 years younger than me, when they were having their children, and you could get all these screenings for this and that and everything else, and they were telling my mum about it, and she was like, none of that. I mean, her last baby, who she had in 1984, was delivered by the Royal Flying Doctors when he flew into the little town that we lived in. Like, there was no ultrasounds, no nothing. You got what you were given. You didn't know what sex the baby was until it came out. You didn't know if there was health concerns until literally the baby was delivered. It's real surrender energy, isn't it? What's happening in the soul? Two of Wands. God's taking the wheel. That's Mars in Aries. Plans. The plans that you make are about to become undone, collectively undone, because God's taking the wheel. The message from the man upstairs. The Nine of Pentacles. It's serious lesson time. That's the Knight of Pentacles, which is Saturn in Capricorn. Healing. This is harsh lessons that we're about to learn, but we have to do it. And the North Node, I think I said before, the North Node is in Pisces at the moment. So it's this collective awakening, this collective move to just going with the flow. The South Node, which is what our comfort zone is in Virgo. Virgo is analytical, lists. This is what we have to do. This is the process. This is the da-da-da-da-da. Almost like so fixated on being in control that we've actually... This is this frustration card that when things don't go the way that we want them, the way that we have communicated that we want them to go, we get all huffy and get our bees in a bonnet. But it's almost like you're tying the knot tighter by trying to control things more. The outcome, the Fool, a new beginning. The end to our foolish ways. The Queen of Swords, please. I like controlling things. It's falling in love with the art of not knowing, the art of surrender, the art of temperance, and being okay with it. Whatever will be, will be. Okay, let's get some clarification. The World. It's the end of this karmic cycle of trying to control everything. What if I do it this way? What if I do it this way? It's almost got us stuck. Got us stuck. I'm going to fight you until I get it the way that I want. And then even if I get it the way that I want, I'm still not happy. Because it's not about the way that I want, it's about the control. It's about being in charge. A new beginning. 2 Fool cards. That's God's no fool. You think you want it that way. The 7 of Pentacles. I've got other ideas. This is the planting the seeds of how you want it. The plans that you make based on the seeds that you plant of how you want things to happen. And it's coming through. God's taking back the wheel. The 9 of Pentacles. That is the Moon in Libra. Taking back the wheel in the fact that you're not going to be able to see the outcome. The 8 of Pentacles. Putting in the work and divinely guided on the bottom. Putting in the work. Trusting in your intuition. And the 10 of Cups, which is the spiritual journey. And on the bottom, we've got the King of Swords. So we've got the King and the Queen of Swords. So inevitably, this will actually bring in balance. A restoration of spiritual balance in the collective. A healing in the collective. It's got that good old-fashioned food energy. It's like, you know, you can eat. Everybody's lives are busy and, you know, you might be buying takeaway a couple of nights a week. You might be making your meal but using containers or using, you know, store-bought, pre-done things, you know, mixing it in with fresh ingredients. But then you go to your mum and dad's place and they make some sort of meal but everything's done from scratch. It's that kind of energy. They're the people that are tapped in. And why are they tapped in? Because they never tapped out. If you talk to any oldies, oh, I don't go on social media, it's too hard. They'd be more likely to be the ones that the aliens visit. Because they don't have to get through any guff to get to them. They're just there in their shell, in their body. The face that they put on their Facebook post is actually what they look like. It's not got a filter on it and this on it and a that on it and a, you know, standing behind or beside a car that makes you look like it's your car, but it's not actually. Like there's no guff, there's no ego, there's nothing. Very interesting. We're losing the light. I'm going to get you a song. See what comes through. Woman, John Lennon. That's sexual healing. Strangers in the night. Right, why have we got these? Well, that's the collective at the moment, isn't it? Everything is about. I can have an abortion, so it means that I don't have to think about who I'm sleeping with. Page of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Page of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. There's Three of Pentacles on the bottom. Whatever we've built is not conducive to this spiritual growth that's coming through. And there's some sort of energy that's coming in to wake us up. And we may not like it. Or those who are embedded in a shell of themselves, a false outer body, are not going to like it. But those who are searching for it are going to embrace it. Okay, let's get a moon. Leo, in their ego. Full moon in Leo, remember to strut with confidence. It's a secret source to success. Okay, I'm going to get some Scrabble tiles. And my apologies, I normally, you know when I'm going to shake it, we've got an L and a 1, a Y and a 4, a T and a 1, a C and a 3, a Q and a 10, a H and a 4, an R and a 1, an S and a 1, a W and a 4, a P and a 3, a J and an 8, and a U and a 1. I'm going to get 3 final cards. I'm actually going to use that deck. Wheel of Fortune, massive change coming. Goodness. Oh, okay. We've got the Star, the Justice card, the Seven of Cups, illusion energy, balance, fated, divinely guided. It's meant to be a lesson. The Page of Pentacles, to bring in balance. And at the end of it, there's going to be a celebration. The Four of Wands is about a spiritual journey that you go on. And that's the celebration at the end of it. I just heard what's going to take people's crown chakras to be blown wide open. The Tower. Okay, that's what I've got. Anything else? I'm going to get one of these. Any other guidance for what is about to come? Forgiveness. I recognize that nurturing resentment hinders the radiant flow of love. And on the bottom, death and rebirth. I'm discovering that endings are simply the dawn of new beginnings. The dawn. The morning star. Venus is the morning star. Okay, that's what I've got for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. If it resonated, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Any songs that I mentioned or listed or came out, I will pop in the description box. There might be more messages in the lyrics, the album cover, the name of the artist. Could be anything in there. Just follow your intuition. All the best on this journey, and I will see you in another reading.